Guys, we're back on Nintendo Treehouse Live at E3, and we have a special game for you today. I am Eric, and this is Terry, and we have two representatives from Ubisoft to show you Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. So with that, let's jump in. You guys, take it away.
Sure. So
thanks a lot. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thanks again. So we're super happy today as well because we're going to show something special that we didn't show anywhere else. So it's a first as well to reveal that today. So we'll go step by step, but yeah, we wanted to give love and more content as well, and just a sneak peek into the storyline and even a boss fight. So again, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle is a tactical adventure with the Rabbids and Mario. And already we see a new character on the screen here with Luigi. As in the first part of the demo, even yesterday that we saw, we're about to unlock Luigi, and now it's done. So yeah, so we'll jump a little bit later into the first world. So it's still the beginning of the game, but we felt it was a cool spot to show a bit more advanced elements compared to yesterday.
Yes.
All right.
So that's one of my favorite things about this game is how deep it is.
Yeah, so we're super excited to show those elements, and you'll see it's a nice wrap-up like yesterday, but this time with some new elements. So yeah, so that's the Jenga tower that we call. The sun is going down, and it's at the end of the first world, and we can talk about a bit more about the verticality of it.
Yeah, this one was it's nearby the end of the first world, and it's really quite different compared to the rest of the game, because instead of being developing horizontally, it goes up vertically. So it's just a small proof of the mess, the twist in the Mushroom Kingdom that Rabbids Arrival created. And it's a very interesting level design, because you know very well that in our game we have weapons that can use special powers that we call super effect. Right. So you can plug into the weapon those super effects, such as the bounce and the push. So being this a tower that is almost about to crumble and goes up into the clouds, it's super easy to use one of those power and push or bounce enemy out of boundaries. But the fact is, even the enemies can do it on you, so you have to watch out. And when players will arrive at the top of the tower, they will see that there is something strange, like, there is a chapter in front of them with a scroll that is gold and black, so maybe something big is about to begin. So in that case, it's better to be prepared. And what Xavier can do is go inside the Battle HQ and set up his team, select the weapon, and have fun with the skill tree, which is going to be fundamental. Players can also decide which kind of heroes they can select, and as each hero has its own ability and skill, it's fundamental, we'll say. No? I don't know which is your preferred team, Xavier.
Yeah, I already started to select it. I really like Luigi. Like
Me too.
We saw a little bit of that yesterday, but his health point is really low at this part of the game compared to, for example, Rabbid Peach. But he's really good from far and doing far distance damage. So
it's a longer range guy.
Yeah, and we see here, for example, Rabbid Luigi that we won't choose today for the fight, but started to have the Vampire Dash, 30 damage. So it's the highest dash damage that heroes have at first with this crew. But he also add Vampire effect, which the enemy become vampired, and then every time you hit the enemy, you get life. Even if Mario is shooting him or Luigi, you're going to get life. So it's a life pool, which is quite interesting. So he's really this little guy.
It's very strategical, because you use it on some enemy, and maybe all your heroes can shoot at him to recover part of the damage dealt on the enemy.
Right. Yeah, so you'd want to, in your turn when you're in battle, like use him first, so you use that status effect, and then your other heroes could benefit from it.
Absolutely.
And then we have the second part of the preparation, like David was saying, it's all about the weapons, you know. We have more than 250 type, you know, and different weapons. So really went far into, you know, putting different stats, different elements. Like, you know, the bounce effect is my preferred bounce. I mean, super effect, because it bounces the enemy away potentially of the battlefield, and you know, you have added damage, and it's like in Mario Kart, you know, when you get out of the road, and so this approach is just super cool. And if you add that to, I don't know, you burn the enemy, and then with your second character, you just bounce the enemy away. And it works on mid-boss as well, so it's really, like, it's awesome to see on the screen.
Yeah, especially if you have certain enemies that are rush-type enemies and kind of rushing at you, and you need to keep that distance between them. Yeah.
Absolutely, and you can use those super effects in combination with the techniques. So you may use a technique with Mario, which is called Hero Sight, that prepares Mario, meaning that if an enemy will move nearby him, he will shoot even if it's not his turn. So just imagine that you do the same with other characters. An enemy is moving, Mario goes Hero Sight, shoot the enemy, the super effect bounce apply, the enemy fly over the battlegrounds, enters in the area of reaction of one of the other heroes that shoot again, and maybe applies the burn effect. And as the burn effect is something that allows for propagation, you will see that if the enemy touches other units, they will start to propagate and run.
And here we see a secondary weapon. You know, yesterday.
My preferred, melee.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's Mario's hammer, and you have a lot of them. Of course, it's locked so far. You have to unlock them through the adventure. But here it's a good example of a little bit more advanced elements. So, for example, your first hammer that you get on the game is good. You know, the damage output is good. You have, you know, you cannot use it every turn, but still, even with the cooldown, it's quite cool. But if you look at the second one here, not only it adds the honey damage and glue the enemy on the ground for 30% chance, which is incredibly cool if you do it on a smasher, for example, because you cannot move anymore to attack your other heroes. But also what we see on the top right is what we call the good damage against something. And here it's the Ziggies. Plus 30 damage chance here to apply what you have on the Ziggy. So that's really cool, because it means if you have a lot of Ziggies around, by using this weapon can be very effective. So this is something you need to watch out, because every weapon has something different. So
they start very simple, but then we start to add
you can specialize,
stats.
Right?
Yes, and as Xavier said, we had these elements of proficiencies. So some weapons are more efficient against some type of enemies, and some weapons are more efficient against the cover. So regardless of the type of cover, you can damage those even faster.
Another example before we go on with the skill tree. That's the sentry. So Rabbid Peach can use a secondary weapon, sentries. And the big difference here is if you look down there, 150 life point. So it's like a hero, a new hero.
Right.
It goes on.
On your team.
And it applies the push damage and push effect, which is great. It's not like the bounce. The bounce is really bouncing out and potentially out of the zone. The push could do the same. You could be push out the zone itself, but you can also push another enemy behind, so it's like a domino effect.
Yeah.
So it's quite effective here. So this little guy, this little sentry, can really go and really try to affect the enemy you target, and then just push everyone around with an AOE type of effect. So the cover damage is not really high on this one. You know, it says low, so it's not going to destroy that much of the covers. But later in the game, potentially you have some very good weapons to destroy covers in one hit, which could be a very interesting for strategy.
Awesome.
The philosophy of the weapon that we have in our game, it can be divided in two macro areas. The primary weapon that are a very direct way to deal with the enemy. They damage one single unity, and the secondary weapon that are basically area of damage. Once again, those weapons, the secondary weapon, works pretty well in combination, in synergy with some of the techniques that some of the characters, the heroes, will have later on in the game, such as the magnet dance, which is the ability to lure all the enemies around you nearby in an area, and this is where you want to hit with an area of the mage weapon.
Gotcha.
And last but not least, the skill tree. Really important to do it before a big fight. So I'm going to reset here, because you can reset whenever you want. So basically, it's a good way to, so you see the fight seems to be a big fight. You have a lot of covers and stuff. You even have covers that cannot be destroyed. So when you look at that, you can go back to the battle queue and adapt your strategy, your weapons, like we said, but also, of course, the skill tree. So example with Mario. So just quickly, we have move and attack, technique, and other elements that we can add as well. And
which are very important, because you can change how much the character can move in the area of movement, or the stamina, or how much health will gain back when he will find mushroom in exploration, or the area of movement outside the pipe, the rabbit pipe that you can find in the battleground.
So for example, here I have 40 orbs. So you know those orbs are what you get from fight. If you did very well in fight, you get more orbs. So as soon as you have orbs, you can start to spend them. So the very first element that Mario can do in his moving phase is an upgrade to what we call the stump jump. So basically, thanks to this, you will be able to do a team jump like before, but then stump on the head of the enemy for damage as well. And it's another boost as well in terms of reach and zone of movement. So that's a very cool element. So you just upgrade it, Mario's happy, and starting now, you can do it in fight right away.
Nice.
And then it's up to you to upgrade. So you can upgrade your dash damage. And as you proceed into the game, it's going to be more and more expensive. So you'll have to make choices where you want to put your points. So you cannot put your points at the end of the game over everything. You have to choose drastically where you want to go for each of them. So Mario can be very different from one player to another one.
Right.
And it's really letting the player experiment with the game. It's one of the key features that we wanted to have in the game. But also for the player that doesn't want to, they can press the autofill function. And so basically it's what we decided for the player, the best,
recommended skills,
the best tree, the best path.
That's awesome.
What's great about
I'm sorry, go for it.
So what's great about it is too, again, you can reset it every time, and so depending on what battle you're in, you just set it to that current standard, so then you're able to counter for the environment, for the enemy. So it's great that being that you can change it every time. It's a great possibility of different varieties of battle.
That's why we wanted to have, before the fight, really have a look into the battlefield itself so you can adapt.
That's really
The
smart.
difference with boss fights, you don't have this preparation phase to, it's really up to you to discover what the fight is. So you have to go in a way that you look at the battlefield and, okay, I'm going to try to go for that, but you'll be surprised with the boss because you don't know what's going to happen. That's what it's going to show.
I guess we'll see what's going to happen here in a second.
Yeah. So I'm going to buy the secondary weapon as well. This
Or
hammer.
you can trust the autofill.
Or we can trust the autofill. So this feature is interesting if you want to go straight into the action. So you press Y, and the game says, do you want me to autofill the element? Of course, it's based on what we chose, depending on your rank and where you are. But of course, it's something that maybe is not totally connected to what you would do. But you can have this option as well. So let's go.
Can't wait. Pretty excited for this now.
Let's do it.
So they just arrived on the top of the tower here, so we can talk a little bit more about the story. So Mario,
And there is a strange guy there.
yeah, and Mario, Luigi, and Rabbid Peach just saw this little guy that we saw a bit yesterday as well. So he's actually the cutest threat ever. He's responsible for everything and all the enemies you see in the game. Why? Because he's able to fuse a white rabbit with something from Mario's world. And why? Because when he's stressed and his stress level is super high, well, he's going to create those enemies. The more stress, the bigger the enemy will be.
Gotcha.
So Bowser Jr., who observed that from far during the first world, he's like, hey, I can use this little guy for me and create my ultimate army and potentially, take over the Mushroom Kingdom finally, while his father is potentially on vacation somewhere. So he's calling him Spawny because he's spawning stuff. And he's going to test right now and even convince this little guy. This little guy is so naive. that he thinks that Mario and his friends were trying to catch him up to do something with him. So he was super stressed. So when he sees Bowser Jr., he's convinced that he's a good guy. So yeah, I'm gonna join him. And now we're gonna see, a fusion between two things, between the banana and the rabbit, and what it, it brings on the table.
I think Bowser Jr. set you up.
Yeah.
Love it.
So
So
this
we-
is
yeah.
happening really at the end of the first world, and it's the very first boss battle of the game.
Awesome.
Each world is divided in 10 chapters, like chapters of a book. At the middle of each world, there is a mid-boss fight, and at the end of each world, there is a boss fight. So Kong is super jealous of the bunch of bananas in front of him, and so doesn't want no one to come nearby those bananas because he wants to keep it for him. And the player here will have really to understand how to deal with the boss.
Right.
So there is a little bit of observation going on here for the player.
So we start to see what we saw yesterday, but a bit more advanced. For example, here, Rabbid Peach. Thanks to the skill tree that we just saw before, she's able to double dash. And her dash damage is at 20. It's a good damage, for
Yeah.
starting to hit the enemy. So I can press again and continue my movement.
And that's just the movement phase. So you
Exactly.
can actually damage the enemy in the movement phase and then still attack.
Yes.
Exactly. I could attack right away the enemy, but I'm going to show you the second character here
Gotcha.
with Mario. So we saw, that, of course, Mario can dash. He can do something like team jump just before, so with Rabbid Peach. Team stomp, as I just
Oh, nice.
shown in the skill
So
tree.
it's
itself.
all about chaining those
Right.
abilities that you are upgrading in your character skill
Yeah.
tree.
And being
And
efficient
as
with your
each hero
choices,
has its own, it's really up to the player.
There's so many different varieties of chaining these attacks.
Yeah.
And then I just can press A, he goes, 20 damage, team jump, team stomp,
Nice.
defeat
That's
the enemy in
awesome.
the process. And then I'm well positioned to flank both enemies, actually. And here, for example, this one with the piston panic gun that we have here. So the damage is way over than the enemy's remaining life. So even if I apply the bounce effect, it's just going to be cool because anyway, he's going to be defeated. So
Well,
we'll
there
see.
we go.
Got him.
There we go. And then Luigi, he's starting to be far away, but he doesn't care because he's really good with range. Look at the range. He can, shoot at enemy for the whole battleground almost.
Yeah.
Maybe on the left, top left, he can't, but he's the one he can shoot anything from afar.
The
But
weapon looks like a Hoover, so seems like hesitation going on in
Luigi
there.
Sniper.
And just before we see the sentry here, and we start to see, where the sentry could go. And it says with the red dot that he won't be able to reach that enemy in the first round.
Gotcha.
But what is cool is that if the enemy comes nearby by mistake, it's going to explode,
Ah,
It's
right.
going to wait for the enemy to enter his zone. So I can try to show this. You'll see. So it's really different. It's a little new hero, and you see this bubble. That's the range. As soon as the enemy enters, he's going to shoot. So let's switch and see if the enemy goes. Rabbid Peach is not well positioned here. I wanted to show for
It's
in
kind
terms
of exposed.
yeah.
You didn't protect her very well.
And now the sentry can go and continue and do that damage. And you see the cover damage was not great, but still it worked. It worked, and so I'm gonna show the hammer that we bought in the skill tree as well here with Mario, even if it's not needed, as the enemy is almost done. But you see what we saw there was the zone of attack, so anyone around would have been shot. And as I did a lot of damage, a lot of points
Nice.
can be
That's
taken.
awesome.
So that's pretty cool. So one thing,
I will try with Luigi.
yeah, we can show Rabbid Kong in the past. So in the background. So this is just the first phase. We won't show the whole thing because it's a bit longer. But the thing here with him is that even if I can reach him, like I'm going to do here, it's going to do some damage, but not really. Because every time he eats a banana, he's going to get his life back. So of course we know the game, we know what to do, but basically here you need to adapt. So
basically the player needs to find a way to get rid of those bananas. Otherwise Kong will keep replenishing health forever.
Got to be perceptive.
Yeah.
So let's try to go in that zone with Rabbid Peach. Thanks to a team jump.
Whoosh.
Bam, the bananas just fell down. So Kong is super excited.
He's mad now.
Yeah. So now, as he's looking for his bananas,
And he's cute. It's almost a pity to
adorable.
defeat the guy. Look at that, the desperation.
The animations in this game are so good.
It's awesome.
so I'm gonna try to shoot. Damn, now we can do damage and apply, which is pretty cool. But the issue is that I was maybe a little too close.
Uh-oh.
Oh my God. He's super romantic.
It's so good.
So you have to watch out, because basically it could be really bad for you. So you need to leave the zone and start to shoot again. So for example, with Rabbid Luigi, with a big damage output, with Mario, and then with Rabbid Peach that is pissed.
Yeah, this is your time. You got to get that damage
Let's
in.
go.
And boom.
There we go. So this is just the first phase of the combat itself, and then he's going to move on into new zones, new types of enemies will start. Those waves, if you're not behind full covers, you get bounced away, so your life starts to go down, out of boundaries, etc., etc. So, and that's something that we won't show more
Right.
because it
That
would
was
be too
just
much.
the first phase. And this is a long boss fight.
Yeah.
It's around 30 minutes, I will say.
Yeah, 30-minute boss fight. That's what I'd love to hear. That's so cool. All right, thank you so much for being here.
It was awesome to show that. We're super happy.
Well, geez, man, this game is turning out so good. I'm really impressed. So,
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
thank you so much for watching. Next up, we have an exclusive look at Super Mario Odyssey.